We're back in Tonopah, Nevada.
Why?
Because we're checking out a historic mining park in the Old West. We're just taking the briefest of glances, really, around this park. We wandered through a little bit yesterday, and the real reason we were in Tonopah was, of course, we stayed at the Clown Motel. It was supposed to be just sort of a one-off adventure of a trip. But hey, if we gotta drive through the Old West on the way home anyway, we might as well make a few stops. Tonopah was one of the last of the old-timey silver boom mining towns. They pulled billions of dollars worth of silver, in today's money, out of these hills right around the turn of the last century. Here you have an original miner's cabin, and although we can't get too close because of the restoration, we've got the remains of part of the Silvertop Mines operations, featuring that epic double-tiered trestle system to get the ore in that building and dump it out below. I could be mistaken, but I believe they had a railroad spur line, and full-size trains, maybe narrow gauge, would be able to pull their cars up right underneath this to get that sweet rich stuff. I believe this park contains over 100 acres of old mines and mining equipment, and when it's not June, you know, you can hike all the way up there to some of the mines, over the hill to some other mines. And if you're smarter than we are and book ahead, you can actually get a guided tour on this like golf cart mule thing, you know, so you don't have to walk through
like
the
tram.
Yeah, you don't have to walk. Here, check this out. Old water troughs and old wooden water pipes. That's right. When you couldn't get metal, your pipes were made of wood. Now this place was and is hardcore. These open pits, these open areas where veins of silver were mined out, are called stopes. And there are tons of open stopes and open mine shafts all over here. You gotta be kind of careful where you step. Definitely don't want to go off the beaten track. Luckily for people who are a little bit nuts, there are a couple of areas where you can stand over some of these open mine shafts and pits. And if you're me, be absolutely terrified. I'm not kidding. I brought a change of underwear in the car just in case. Right over here, they've got this bridge made of what I'm sure is very sturdy steel with an open grate, so you can look straight down in to the abyss. Is it sturdy, George?
I don't know,
Does it feel safe?
No.
No. Oh, dude, I don't like heights. I get vertigo pretty easily. I get a little shaky. Just gotta not look down. Don't look down. Oh, I look down. I look down. This is one heck of a view, but I gotta tell you, I'm not very comfortable right now, George. Oh, I don't know if you guys can tell, but that is a big drop. Oh, it's even worse on this side. And pigeons keep fluttering up out of there, out from the depths, you know, and making that loud flappy noise. Oh, Bert and Ernie would be happy, but I'm terrified of that. George keeps wanting me to look at things down in the...
It's like this awesome wooden ladder. It's all broken.
Oh, neat, dude, neat. Okay, all right. Oh yeah, okay, I see it down there. See that wooden ladder way down there. I know some of these go 500 feet, 1,000 feet.
I think one of them is 1,500 feet.
Crazy, dude. Look at those timbers bending down there from the pressure. Yeah. And they would have had crazy wooden floors. Those guys are just walking around like, jeez, not worth it. Not worth it. That stope bridge isn't the only terrifying, death-defying place you can put yourself. If you keep heading down the trail a little ways past these, you know, cracks of Hades, you'll eventually reach the head frame for the Mizpah mine, which I believe was the richest of all the mines out here on this hill. It had one of the first steel head frames for western mining towns, and you could see the old engine house for the hoist, and those are giant steel belts, I believe. And if you're brave or stupid enough, right by these guys laying down commemorative bricks, you can walk over and stare down into a 1,000-foot shaft. Oh, here he goes. See, George did this yesterday, so he's a little braver today. Oh my gosh. How is it, dude? Is it easier to look today?
It's a lot easier than yesterday. It's still really scary, but it's easier.
Don't drop your keys, dude. Don't drop your keys.
Drop your keys.
All right. I'm doing it. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I was just told each of those layers is about 6 feet apart. That means each of those square rings down there is a man. That is terrifying. Oh, this is better. This is the better way to look down. on firm ground. Yeah. Oh, dude, each one of those stripes is 6 feet tall. You could have a dozen guys standing on each one of those levels. Oh, you drop your keys down there. You ain't never getting them back. Take a break. Got a little sick to my stomach.
Yeah, even that made me a little dizzy.
The world felt like it was all going down there, dude. No good. Yeah, dude, check that out. You had dual lifts on either side being lifted into and out of the mine by these cables from the machinery in the hoist house. I don't know if they're technically steel, but if you come in here, you can get a real up-close look at them. They are definitely made of metal. I think it's called flat wire cable. Dude, look at the size of this machinery. This is a big air compressor. That thing is massive. 1903, and look at the size of that belt on it. That thing is almost the width of a moving sidewalk. Meet George Jetson, daughter Judy. Like I've said at other mining locations back in the day, there were so many things, even if you didn't have to work down in the dangerous mine, that could maim you, pull off a finger, pull off an arm, cripple you, crash you, crunch you, smash you, grind you up into powder, turn you into a pancake. I don't want to be a pancake. Oh, dude, look at this. I think this is where the hoist operator would have stood. Look at that. It's like he just walked away from the controls. This thing really looks like you could kind of just fire it up, pull up some of the rich stuff, and save the Goondocks. Yesterday we were told that they didn't get diesel-powered engines up here for a long time. So originally all of this kind of equipment in the different hoist houses was powered by steam. Can you imagine how hot it would be here in the summer, working round the clock, with steam boilers going all day? No wonder they had this frosty Coke cooler up here. Oh, soda pop. Boy, am I thirsty. Oh, dang it. Oh, check it out. Old axe head. You can finally be an axe murderer. Because you broke the axe, get it? No, okay, never mind. Now, there's actually a lot to see and do out here. You could spend a whole day roaming around this place. Unfortunately, since we gotta be home tonight, we don't have the time to do that. But there is one more thing that's just too epic to skip over before we leave. If we take this sun-blasted trail down, it eventually loops around and leads to a tunnel. Just again, watch where you step. Oh, look at that! The miner cemetery is over there next to the Clown Motel. But over here, right next to some of the mines, is a little pet cemetery. That's why I really gotta be careful where I step, man. 'Cause I don't wanna be buried in a pet cemetery. Pet cemetery. You don't wanna go down that road. Those trucks are in the road. Ah. Oh, that one looks good. See, I would totally jump down there just to check it out and just dive in with both feet. Except luckily I saw this sign first. Turns out it's unsafe. Bummer. I'm told at certain times of the year they have blacksmithing lessons out here, so if you're really a glutton for punishment, you can come stand in the sun and pound on some hot metal. Check it out, check it out. Check it out, George. I'm smithing. I'm smithing! So I'm not the only one that gets in trouble. He's smithing! Unauthorized smithing! Ah! Alright, we're almost to the tunnel. Just gotta make your way past these huge piles of tailings and rubbish and this old Model A, Model T, Model A. Wow. Wonder how that got there, man. It must not have been very safe. 6,000 feet elevation up here. Anyway, and then eventually we get to the Burro Tunnel. Now the tunnel itself has been restored, particularly in the beginning of it. So at first I was like, oh, this is kind of lame, just a demonstration tunnel. But it turns out, if you make your way all the way to the light at the end of the tunnel, there's a little surprise in store for you. At the dead end of this, you reach this weird steel cage. I thought it was just to protect you from rubble, but oh no. George, why don't you demonstrate where this leads? In reality, this thing leads you to a dead end right over another open stope, and this one is at least 500 feet straight down. How's it feel out there, buddy? This is unbelievably unsafe feeling. You ready? Take a peek. Oh my gosh. I don't like it. It's crazy enough just looking out from the side at this crazy pigeon. And then on the opposite side, it's sort of right at your eye level. It doesn't look too bad. But then you look down. What the heck, dude? You could see the leftover timbers making up those floor sections that the miners had to walk on. Look at that. Oh, George. Let me in. Dude, even straight down through the grate below your feet. Look at that abyss, dude. This is like something out of a video game. I don't like this at all. Look how shaky those timbers are. Ooh, you can actually see along some of the sides where other former layers of flooring have given way and timbers have just broken through. Nope. Dude, I totally get risking your life to an extent if you're the guy that's going to get all the gold or silver. But these guys were your working class dudes getting wages. They were called cousin jacks, some of them. British miners or Cornish miners who came out here and had to drill these things in by hand, hammer in these drill bits and turn these drill bits. Look at this one. This one got stuck and they just walked away like, screw it. They would make these little holes, all by hand and hammer, stick in the dynamite, run for their lives, and blast it away. No lie, this really stresses me out. I'm like sweating bullets, and it's not hot down in the tunnel area. These pigeons keep flapping around, and every time they just whoa, 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 you feel this air. Terrifying, dude. Oh my gosh. Look at the size of that chasm. Dude, that looks like it leads straight to H-E double hockey sticks. Looks like it leads straight to the origin of everybody's mother-in-law. All right, George wants to chuck a rock.
Got this rock. I'm going to try and throw it down that hole.
See how long it takes to make a sound. Ready? Shh, shh, shh. Okay, go. Nope, don't like that. Dude, that's some Mines of Moria stuff right there, dude. You're gonna drop one more rock and we're just gonna hear drums. Drums in the deep. Fool of a took! You're gonna wake the Balrog, George. The Bal... Oh. Dislike. Anyway, there you go. This nice tunnel here. That terrifying bridge. Oh, I believe there's another drill bit stuck in the rock right here. Look at that. Oh, my heart is pounding. Short of breath. A little anxiety. I get vertigo, so things get weird for me in situations like that. Definitely cool to visit once. Wouldn't want to party there every Saturday night. And not only was it cool to see, you know, the mines where all the miners would work, but it was also cool to see where they kept all the magazines, you know? GQ, Rolling Stone, Miners Weekly. Get it? All right, well, as sorry as I am to go, I think it's about time to say goodbye to Tonopah. Luckily, we've got other stops to make, including another historic gold mining town that's just 30 or 40 minutes away. Welcome back to historic Goldfield, Nevada. Now, Goldfield is far and away most famous today for being the home of the Goldfield Hotel, which has the reputation of being one of the most haunted buildings in America. Although last time we were here, Oscar, George, and I were told by the gentleman in charge of the place that all of its most famous TV moments, one in particular, was 100% faked, so... I've heard similar stories. I don't want to tell you which TV shows try to pull the wool over our eyes, allegedly. But I've heard a lot of business owners tell me stories about behind-the-scenes action on those shows and setting up some of the special effects, if you will. Dude, check that out. Still working on restoring it, seems like one tiny bit at a time. Looks like they're looking for people with skills, so come and leave your card. Anyway, to me, Goldfield, Nevada will always be most famous for being the place where Virgil Earp, the brother of Wyatt, even though he had one of his arms basically disabled by events in Tombstone, Arizona, Virgil still worked on and off as a lawman and security guard and a railroad detective for the rest of his life, eventually winding up in Goldfield, Nevada, doing security for some of the hotels and casinos here. Unfortunately, he caught pneumonia and passed away. Some say in the hospital that was located here, which is no longer here. Some say in his home, which is also no longer extant. His last words to his wife, Allie, was, light my cigar, stay here, and hold my hand. It's terrible, man. You know the thing about Allie? Her maiden name was Sullivan. Yeah. Now today, Goldfield is home to less than 300 people. But as you can see by these large buildings, it was once a happening spot. And because this was one of the last sort of mining booms in this area up here, it was well into the automotive age before these towns started to dwindle and die down. So Goldfield combines a couple of my favorite things. You've got Old West buildings and epic old gas stations and automotive buildings all in one place. Dude, look at that painting. I love hand-painted advertising. Every single piece like that is one of a kind. This town has got all the epic features of an Old West ghost town, complete with all the quirky half-buried buildings and old bricks and makeshift materials. But right alongside your mining artifacts and your old wagon wheels, you got the roof of an old Model T truck, and across the street, a very early gas station, or as they would have said back then, filling station. I love that it looks like it's undergoing a little bit of renovation here, and dude, look at this safe in front of it. Fireproof, brick and metal safe. Dude, check this place out across the street. They've got a couple of buildings on this corner with epic stuff piled out front, but this one takes the cake. That is epic. Dude, look at all those road signs. Look at the UFO. This is only the second time that we've ever been out here, and both times this place has been closed. And actually, I'm only guessing that they might sell stuff in here, because sometimes you come across these places and it's just a guy who likes to collect. But either way, whether for profit or just for fun, this is indeed a sweet roadside attraction. Just look at that highway sign. It's got George Washington on it. That's gotta be your favorite president, right? Because he's named after you. Dude, imagine a time where it was easy to get all these signs because they were just junk. Even I can remember a time after they were, you know, pretty collectible, where you could go behind old buildings on the side of the road or open gas stations and they just have a pile of old signs. 20 bucks. Nowadays, these type of signs are ridiculously expensive, especially ones like that old highway shield. I get why. I like them. I wish I had a few of these bad boys. But what I don't get is why handmade wooden stuff has never caught up, you know? I think handmade wooden signs are bad. George's dad is actually a sign painter, right? He does the hand sign painting. Mm-hmm. Doesn't he do hand painting at Disneyland too? Yeah. Probably shouldn't have said that, but you know, keep it on the DL. Oh, dude, this place is epic. This looks like a lifetime of collecting old, forgotten stuff. I see a sign on the door over here that actually says Mohawk Antiques and Movie Props, so at least at one time seems like they were renting out stuff and selling stuff. Oh, snap. I thought there was a person, like a live person, in that phone booth. Turns out it was just this mannequin. Hello, ma'am. How are you? Oh my gosh, this is a family show, ma'am. Well, what do you expect? Nevada is one crazy place. I've got a buddy who lives and works out here, but I cannot find his phone number. So if you're watching, sorry, Mr. T. Oh, looks like this guy had a swinging time out here. Hey! Get it? Okay, check this place out. Look at these little, what would you call them? Replicas, little renditions of old mining cabins. George just pointed out to me that they all have AC units. You might be able to stay in these things. Dude, bro. Someone would come back out with us, maybe Oscar. We rent all three. Yeah, that'd be fun. Wild times in Goldfield ahead. That's a perfect illustration of the way these boom towns shrunk down, because that used to be the town's hotel, and nowadays it's a couple of shanties. I'm kind of bummed that the Emporium isn't open this time. It was open last time we were here, and the lady inside was actually super friendly and helpful and nice. Actually, nothing looks open in town today. Oh, wait, here's someone to ask. Excuse me, ma'am. Do you know what time you open? Oh my Lord, they're back. Maybe if I just keep smiling and ignoring them, they'll go away. Huh, must be another mannequin. I can't believe George agreed to this. Oh, George, look how pretty you look. Oh, wait, hold on, I'm getting in on this. Hey, look, George, now we're a couple. Couple of friends, right? Just us and our donkey. Like old times. Can you hear me? I can't hear me. What? Hello? Oh, check this out. It's Old Blue. He's one of those things my grandma always called me. Okay, this is awesome. Look at this streamline era garage. I mean, that is awesome. This just looks like something an old streamliner would stop at, like a train, or somewhere where Cliff Secord and Peavy would work, you know? It looks so awesome. Whoa, and looking through the window, check that out. Look at all of that original stuff. New old stock. Now, other than the Goldfield Hotel, which you can see for miles outside of town, the other biggest building is this big guy over here that I can't remember. It was either a high school or a courthouse. I think it might have been the school. But just looking around back here, you can tell this was a full-on city. Multi-story buildings, sidewalks, fire hydrants. I mean, this was a place to be. Whenever I see a house like this, I just feel an affinity for the person. Like, all this little art, cool knickknacks, birdhouses and antiques. Even though your yard is dirt and nothing will grow in the desert, they find a way to make it their own. Hey, look at that. Yeah, bummer, all the little shops are closed today. I think there's gonna be another trip to Goldfield in our future. Last time we were here though, we did manage to see these art cars that are, I believe, left over from Burning Man. Whatever else they are, they're definitely creative. Ooh, this poor Barbie got too much sun. She's got a skin condition now. Dude, these things are awesome. I'm not sure what I would do if I was going down the freeway and saw one of these bad boys coming. Wait a minute, Doc. You built a time machine out of an ugly old van? Look at this, you got everything. You got Power Rangers, you got a convenient car phone. Hello? Mobile crime lab, computer. Even people from Eternia are impressed. Hashtag art. Hey, I was right, that is the old high school. Look at this. The courthouse is still in great shape, and so is the firehouse. Dude, I'm just expecting a 50s ambulance to drive out of there. I wish it was open. I really want to know if they have one of those poles. Oh man, looks like sometimes it's open as a fire museum. This thing is awesome. Whoa, and check out the old fire engine. This thing is gigantic. Makes you appreciate just how miniature the miniature one is at Disneyland. Because this thing is long. You could fit a heck of a large crew back there on this guy. I love towns like this. So much to see even just on the main road. This is unusual. Not only do they have another smaller fire engine out here in this lot, but they've got these things as well. Now, I don't care how big Goldfield used to be. There's no way they had their own subway system. I wonder where in the world these came from. I know I've looked it up before and found out, but I forget. No, wait a minute. I do remember. I'm pretty sure that these came from Chicago. I think the guy that owns the firehouse owns a winery or something like that, and that the rumor is that these are from Chicago, but I don't think I ever found out a for sure answer. I mean, they definitely are ornate, definitely from a big city, Chicago, New York, something like that. And they are sort of weirdly extra gorgeous out here as the, you know, subway station to nowhere or whatever. It'd be kind of cool if someone stuck a sign on them so we knew for sure. Speaking of signs, all these little houses and buildings back here, most of them do have little plaques on them that go along with a map that you can get on days that the visitor center is open. I'm pretty sure the reason everything's closed though is because all the side streets in town today are getting resurfaced. Summer weekdays, small town streets being resurfaced. Perfect excuse to not go to work for a day, you know what I mean? Check this out. Back here behind the fire station is a 1905 authentic bottle house. That is amazing. Dude, it looks so cool. And next door there's a couple of Victorian or Edwardian sort of ornate houses. And dude, look at that lamppost. Some people dream of hitting the big time and getting rich so they can retire and head off to an island and disappear. My dream would just to be independent enough, as you could say, to put it politely, to just go to small towns like this for weeks. Do a deep dive, make a documentary on every small town in America, because everywhere's got a history. But I must admit, few places have such an awesome looking history. Dude, look at that building. This garage is awesome. If it ever had gas pumps, they were probably removed, likely to widen the highway, you know. A lot of garages back in the day did dual duty as gas stations. I'll tell you what, whoever owns this piece of history has some sweet whips in there. It's one thing to see old buildings and guys put their collections in them of old stuff. That is awesome, don't get me wrong. But it's another when you see that type of thing happening and it's so dusty and crusty, you know everything that's in that building has been there for a long time. Blah, blah, blah. So dry out here. I'm having trouble speaking now. My lips are drying out. Well, I'm now solidly convinced I definitely want a longer trip to Goldfield. All right, I've just got to soak in one last glimpse of this epic scenery. Then we'll have to head on down the road. Like I said, all the stores in town are closed today and we're getting a little parched. I did actually just meet and talk to an older guy who owns a museum in town. I won't tell you which one. I'll leave that spoiler free for next trip. But I was thinking, haha, chalk it up, one more reason to come back. All right, well now we've done it. We've come to where the sidewalk ends, my friend. To a place even I've barely ever heard of. It's the kind of place, the kind of semi-ghost town you'd expect the Muppets to turn up into or something. It's like straight out of a movie. Welcome to Gold Point, Nevada. Population 27. Dude, look at this fire truck here with that Joshua tree growing out of it. Oh, check out that gas pump. That is sweet. Now the TLDR of Gold Point history is that it was basically a small mining camp that only lasted 2 years, then had another little boom when it was unabandoned for only 1 year during a silver strike, and then later in the 1930s a few people were drifting in and out. It's the type of place that almost happened a whole bunch of times. It's getting a little windy and stormy out here, but you can see behind me that it's got one of the hallmarks of small ghost towns, and that is a row of replica buildings for tourists, usually built back in the 50s and 60s to complement their authentic buildings and give it more of that classic 50s Western look. I don't know what this was for, but it says tickets for House of Rude. Look at that, they got attraction style trash can outside, this old jail cell outdoors, and up there, the classic Western gallows right in front of the conveniences. I know this is probably just a tourist replica from back in the day, possibly using a real jail's iron bars for all I know. But the idea of this being the real calaboose, the real jail in the middle of town where people would walk up and down and just stare at you. Oh, Billy, out drinking again, huh?
Yeah, I done shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot that deputy.
Ah, this is where people go after they do their duty. They go home and sleep well right here. The coolest looking building so far is this one right here. Look at that. It says Hornsilver Town Site and Telephone Company. That was one of this town's names before it was Gold Point. Hornsilver. Like the rest of the buildings in town, though, there's a little sign that says private building. And we've been here for seriously like 45 minutes. Not one person has crossed the street, opened a door, nothing. 0 cars have driven by. There is no nearby highway. It was a long side road to get here. I know 27 people are supposed to live out here, but maybe all 27 of them went on vacation together or something. This is a real ghost town. I'd really like to find out the backstory on these, whether or not they actually were built for tourists or they were real miners' cabins dragged in to, you know, spruce up Main Street. One thing's for sure, this town is awesome. There is mining equipment and heavy machinery strewn around everywhere. You can see all kinds of cool rusty gold attached to the side of that main building I was just showing you. But what immediately grabbed my attention was this. Dude, there are several of them scattered throughout these hills, but there's a big old head frame and hoist just right on the edge of town, literally over the road from those buildings. Like I said earlier, you know, we're sort of headed for home today. We don't have too long to spend, maybe an hour or two, just kind of roaming around, scouting it out for the future. Normally I'd be a little more bold about exploring, but maybe it's the little windstorm kicking up from down that way. The kind of weird clouds make it feel a little more ominous, but not seeing a soul anywhere? I don't know. Normally I love the middle of nowhere, but I got that weird feeling that there are people in every building and they know we're here, but they don't want us to know they're here. It's almost like I want to see their cool equipment and their awesome trailers, but I feel like they're trying to say, scram, scram. See what I did there, George?
Yeah.
Scram. Yeah, man. I can't shake it. I definitely got that feeling like we're being watched. Partly, maybe that's because some of these old dusty windows have got mannequins in them and stuff, or maybe it's all the skulls and deer heads. There are a lot of other buildings here, but they're pretty darn spread out over the area. This is exactly the kind of place I always think it would be awesome to kind of own a retreat, you know, own a cabin out here, get away from it all, write a novel, you know, let people borrow your cabin. Hey, y'all can use my cabin. Don't know why I said that in a southern accent, you know. You say, hey, you want to use my place up in Gold Point? Like that, dude. Look how awesome this old building is. Not sure how long it's gonna last with the wind blowing the whole facade like that. That is the kind of epic building like you'd love to own, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, for a year or two be able to use it as a little retreat. Come on, George, you like to retreat. Well, because of our eerie feeling and nobody being outside today, I don't think we'll walk through the neighborhoods back here. You can see a few miners' cabins. Some people have trailers. What you guys can't see at home is the wind keeps gusting really crazy, and there's a lot of really fine sand in the air. Even now, like, gets in your eyes. Still though, for just kind of stopping by to check it out on a whim, it was a good whim, because this sort of semi-ghost town is awesome looking. See, look at this. Even this building over here, The Turf, has a sign that says The Turf Saloon and Grill. Says a private residence down there in the corner. And actually, I gotta say, now that I'm down here looking at it, that would be the one you'd want to have. That would be a sick getaway, because look at this. You are right on the edge of the most amazing, beautiful yet desolate view ever. All right, that is a cool spot. That should be an Airbnb. I'd rent it. All right, I guess it's time for us to push on. I just can't shake that feeling of like being watched. And I know no one that lives here is watching, or
You're too paranoid.
it's almost like being followed, you know? You don't get that vibe? Normally, you know, I've explored all over the country. I've been to places much more remote and sketchy than this. And I'm not so easily spooked. I don't know, can't explain it, just a feeling. You know what? Part of it has got to be I haven't had any caffeine all day.
Or cold drinks.
So, yeah, exactly. So, probably a good idea to push on now towards Beatty. But dude, check that out. Another awesome head frame. Man, I've seen so many cool buildings and head frames and pits and equipment scattered all over out here. I'm glad we took the time to scout it out, because it's definitely on my to return to list. All right, well, it was one heck of a mesmerizing, almost hypnotizing drive. Too bright to take your sunglasses off, but too dim to leave them on. But we finally made it to Beatty, Nevada, the smaller Eddie World, and home of the Death Valley Nut and Candy Company. And here's a Death Valley nut right here. You know you are, George.
Dude, those bees.
Bees? Whoa, holy cow, those are bees. Not Arby's like the roast beef. Honeybees. That's so weird that you just noticed that, like, right when I started talking to them.
I think they just got here, because
Whoa.
I would have seen that out of the corner of my eye.
We've sort of been in foodless and drinkless wastes all day long, so we finally got some caffeine, some snacks. We were planning on sitting here for a little while and getting recaffeinated, but now George looks like he can't relax because of the bees.
Watch out for the bees!
You're in your security guard position
remember
right
that?
now. Oh yeah, watch out for the bees! Ooh, they're getting closer.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? I'm so hungry and undercaffeinated, I don't even care. I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy the show. Sweet. It's weird, dude. I still have that feeling like I'm
Being watched, yeah.
Yeah, like someone's following us, or I don't know. It wasn't that place after all. It's something weird, and it's not the bees. Well, if I get home and that semi-truck from Dual pulls in the driveway behind me, I'll know someone was after me. All right, we switched spots. The bees were getting a little too familiar, a little too friendly over there, dude. I was gonna say, the light's getting low, you know, it was sort of a random day. We didn't really have a plan, so guess we'll just wrap things up here. But George reminded me there is a way to end our day with a bang. So we're gonna push on for one final drive through the desert to our last destination, the world's largest firecracker! Kaboom, sucker! George was right, we made it! And would you look at the size of that firecracker! Unfortunately, even though we are ending with a bang, because, you know, the world's largest firecracker, we are ending with a fizzle for George, because he was really hoping to go in this place and buy firecrackers and works and stuff, and it's closed.
Closed.
You upset, man?
Well, yeah, kind of.
Darn you, Alamo fireworks! I feel a little bit bad for George. I mean, look at him. He looks so sad back there. But all in all, I would say we saw a lot of stuff today, having no plan and just like, oh, we're just gonna drive home, and just saw some random stuff, went to some ghost towns.
What?
Huh? Got paranoid, felt like someone was watching me. Still got that weird feeling. I don't know how to explain it, but the sun is going down. It's sinking down in the west below the yellow Saturn. And unfortunately, there's nothing more we can do here today. So for now, I'm sorry, George, I hate to say it.
All right.
We've done our duty. It's time to go home and
Sleep well.
sleep well. Yeah.
Yep.
Now! wonder how that got there, man. It must not have been very safe. Come on, dude. Come on. You in the pigeon. Dude, where did that pigeon go? It's a Hades pigeon! A Hades pigeon! Oh! Get away from me, demon pigeon! I rebuke thee, Satan!
Die, devil bird.
I was gonna say, why didn't you rebuke Satan, George? You the Satan, bro? I know you're not, though. You're into the ducks. A lot of times when I'm filming, I gotta wait a long time for things like clouds to pass, but look at this. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. See, that's better. His last words were to his wife, Allie. He said, hand me my cigar, or light my cigar, something like that. I forget it now. You know what it was?
Like, light my cigar and hold my hand?
No, that wasn't it. It was something about Justin Bieber. Gotcha! Made George laugh.